Yes, Anuradha. Now you are present. You can share your screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning,
Then,
ma'am.
and see, this is not, though this is the seminar, but I'm expecting interactions. So instead of teaching, you can ask questions in between, Anuradha.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, today's seminar.
Yeah.
So I am also.
As per the time, we can see.
आज मैं भी
Ma'am,
देने वाली हूँ ना.
अरे
ma'am,
बाबा हाँ रुको टाइम देखेंगे पहले नहीं तो कल फॉर श्योर कल आपका रहेगा
ma'am, is it my screen visible?
yes clearly visible Anuradha. You can start. All the very best.
Yes. So welcome all of you and very good morning. I am Anuradha Chaugule, today going to present the seminar on genetic basis of inheritance of B.Ed course 10608 of general science subject under the guidance of Pratibha ma'am. So students, so can you tell me anyone the definition of genetics? Yes?
The characters which we get from our parents or our grandparents.
Yes, good try, Renuka. The genetics is nothing but the branch of biology which deals with the characters, transfer of characters from one generation to next generation. It is the genetics. So we will see the some research or research related to genetics. First upon the Gregor Mendel, he is the pioneer of modern genetics. After that, Hugo de Veris, he proposed the mutational theory. After that, Sutton in 1902, he observed the pair of chromosome in the grasshopper cell. After that, in 1944, Avery, McCarthy, and MacLeod, he proposed that or proved that the all living organisms have the DNA as a genetic material except the viruses. After that, in 1961, Jacob and Monod, they proposed the model of protein synthesis with the help of DNA in the bacterial cell. After that, this discovery is helpful for the genetic code in the DNA for the discovery of genetic code. After that, the technique of recombinant DNA technology is arose and that gives the vast scope to the field of genetic engineering. And the science of heredity or genetics is useful for the diagnosis, treatment, prevention of hereditary disorders, production of hybrid varieties of animals and plants, and in industrial processes in which microbes are involved. So, can anyone tell me how the heredity helpful in diagnosis, treatment, prevention, also the production of hybrid variety? Can anyone give me the examples in industrial processes how the heredity is useful or the genetics is useful? Yes.
Please be interactive. Reenal, Renuka, Priyanka, Pooja.
Okay, let me tell you. The because of heredity, the diagnosis means any disease is there. For example, we can consider the cystic fibrosis. This is the genetic disorder. If there is this disorder in the some parents or the grandparents, then we can diagnose that disorder maybe in the uh, that progeny or next progeny. So how that we can diagnosis, and also the prevention in case of we suppose in case of diabetics, if it is the our parents have the diabetes, then it is more possibility to we have also the diabetics. That's why we can take care about that. And the that whatever the disorders or the whatever the diseases we are diagnosed, that will be cured. And for the production of hybrid varieties of animals and plants, now there are so many hybrid varieties of plants and animals for the buffaloes, also for the production of milk, and in case of plants, for the production of different varieties of plants which can increase the yield of crops. For that also, here we are using the this technology of genetics, that is genetic engineering, etc. And also for the production of vitamins, antibiotics, the microorganisms we are using. And also you are using daily basis, we are preparing the dhokla, idli, that for that processes also, for curd making also the microbes are useful. And in case of large production, the microbes are used in that genetic engineered microbes are used. So this is the use of heredity or the genetics in case of our day-to-day life. Okay, so what is mean by heredity? Yes, please, can you tell me what is mean by the heredity? Yes, Rinal, Renuka, Priyanka.
The process by which uh, our parents pass their genes uh, to us, or we can transfer to the next generation. Generation to generation, gene transfer is there. Anuradha ma'am, are you there?
Internet issue she is having, we have to wait for some time.
Okay.
Ma'am, whether I'm audible or not, ma'am?
Yeah, now you're audible. I think maybe internet connectivity lost. Now you're audible. You can continue, Anuradha.
Oh, okay. So heredity is nothing but the transfer of characteristics. We can say that traits in terms of genetics from the parents to the offspring is nothing but the heredity. And what is mean by the inheritance? Yes, can you please tell me the definition of inheritance? And what is the difference between the heredity and inheritance? Yes.
There is a disturbance in transforming the gene.
Okay, good try, Renuka. The heredity is nothing but the transfer of characteristics, and the inheritance is the process by which the transfer of characteristics from parents to the offspring is nothing but the inheritance. Do you understand the what is the difference between heredity and inheritance now? So heredity is the
Yes.
characters which are going to transfer from parents to offspring, and the inheritance is the process by which the transfer of characteristics is takes place. That is nothing but the inheritance. So the heredity, we can observe these pictures and we can say the human beings are looks like their parents. Also the puppies are looks like their parents, and also the kittens are looks like their parents, like cats. Okay, these are nothing but due to the heredity only. Now in case of plants also you can observe the heredity. In this picture, can you tell me the names of the plants? Yes, please. Yes.
Rose and
Touch me not.
and
Yes, very good, Pooja and Renuka. The first one is touch me not, and second one is the rose. Can you tell me the what is the hereditary character in these both plants? We can observe that physiological characteristics. That's why I'm taking these examples. Yes,
flowers and about the touch me not जो हम
yes,
उसको
good.
टच करते हैं तो वो shrink हो जाते हैं pages. It is also hereditary
Yes,
character.
yes. Yes, very good, Renuka. In touch me not plant, the whatever whenever we touch that leaves will be closed. That is the characteristics from we can identify this is the touch me not plant, and this characteristic is the very hereditary characteristics from one generation to next generation. Like this character's trait or character is continuously transferred from one generation to next generation. And in case of second picture, uh, you are observing the thrones, or you feel also sometimes the thrones to your hands, that characteristics of thrones, and also the flowers, also the appearance of flowers is specific to that plant, and that is nothing but the transferred from one generation to next generation. It is nothing but the hereditary only. Okay, so next we will saw about the inheritance only. Now the continuity of the gene pool is maintained by the process of inheritance. Can you tell anyone me the what is mean by the gene pool? Yes, yes, Priyanka, Renal, Renuka. Okay, let me tell you. The gene pool, we can say about this population also. Mostly it is referred to the population only, large scale of people or a large scale of area like this. But in here we are taking the population also, and from the parents to offspring also. So gene pool is nothing but the whatever characteristics present in that parents or in that population, that overall characteristics or genes that will transfer to the next, that whatever the quantity of that gene is transferring to the next generation is nothing but the gene pool. So in case of reproduction, there are two types of reproduction. Can you tell me the reproduction which are of two types? Mainly two types we are observing. Yes.
Sexual and asexual.
Yes, yes, very good, Renuka. There are two types of reproduction. That is the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. And there we can observe some minor differences also. And there are so much similarities in between the parents. Means uh, even though we have the so many characteristics like our parents, yet we have some minor characteristics which are different from our parents. Is it agreed with this all of you? Yes.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So whatever the characteristics from passing from one generation to next generation is depends upon the process of reproduction. If the organism is asexual at that time, the so many characteristics, a greater amount of characteristics will be passed from the parents to offspring. So there is a minor variations. And in case of sexual reproduction, there are greater variation, means some very few characteristics we can say pass from the first generation to next generation. Not few, we can say like this, but the variation, amount of variation is difference. Now what is mean by variation? Can you explain me about the variation? Because whatever now I told, upon based on that you can explain the what is mean by variation. Yes, please, Renal ma'am, Renuka ma'am.
There is a difference difference in characteristic between parents and their younger one.
Yes, very well said, Renuka ma'am. Whatever the differences between the parents and the offspring, that is nothing but the variation. So what is the mechanism of heredity that we'll see? So information necessary for the protein synthesis is stored in the DNA, and the segment of DNA which is responsible for the particular protein synthesis, that is called as gene. And the gene and that protein synthesis and the characteristics of organism, there are relation between these all things. We will take one example and understand this relationship. So we can consider the plant height. So do you know the how plant grows? What is responsible for the growth of the plant? Yes, for the growth of the plant, what is responsible? We are taking the example plant height. Yes.
Tissues or cells.
Yes, but you are near. So for the plant height, increase of plant height, mainly responsible for the hormones, growth hormones. And can you tell me the names of growth hormone? Yes.
Don't know.
Okay, we can auxin, gibberellic acid, and cytosine. These are the some examples of growth hormone, and particular the plant height uh, is the hormone responsible for the plant height is nothing but the auxin. So the quantity of growth hormone depends on that the plant height is depends on the quantity of the growth hormone. If the quantity of hormone produced is more, then the plant height is more. And this hormone production of growth hormone is depends on the efficiency of the that concerned enzyme responsible for the production of growth hormone. So if the efficient enzyme produced in higher quantity due to the gene, then the quantity of hormone is more, and so that the plant height also more. And vice versa, if the efficiency of the enzyme is less, at that time the quantity of growth hormone produced is less, and that leading to the short heighted plant, that is the stunting plant. Okay. So next point is chromosomes. Can you tell me the definition of chromosome, or you have any idea what is the chromosome? Yes. So there is a
It is
cell.
a protein structure.
Uh,
It is a
can you
protein-based
repeat?
structure.
Okay, yes, protein and nucleic acid structure. So there is a cell in our body. In that cell, there is a nucleus, and in that nucleus, there is a structure which carried the hereditary characteristics from one generation to next generation. That structure is called as chromosome, and this chromosome is made up of nucleic acids and protein. We can observe the chromosome in compound microscope. Okay, and the the chromosomes are made up of single DNA. Remember this, whatever the chromosome is there, that made up of single DNA. If you look at this slide and pictures, you can observe this is the cell. In that cell there is a nucleus. This is the nucleus, and in this nucleus there is a structure called as chromosome. Okay, and in this chromosome it is made up of a single DNA. This is the DNA, and this part of DNA we are calling the gene, and this gene is responsible for the protein production. So we can say that the functional unit of hereditary. Because why we are calling this functional unit of hereditary? Because it is responsible for the whatever our body is functioning, what and how the growth occurs, and our physical appearance. For that all things this gene is responsible, so that it is called as a functional unit of hereditary. Remember this. Okay, after that, organization of genetic material. Okay, this is the nucleus. In this nucleus, we now only saw the, this is the chromosome. It is genetic material. That genetic material is composed of the chromosome. It is now, this is the, in that chromosome there are so many compartments. In that compartment there is a domain, one single one is called as domain, and that domain consists of so many loops, and these loops is consist of nucleosome chain. This is called nucleosome chain, and this is called nucleosome. And this nucleosome is surrounded by this DNA, and this DNA contains a particular part. This part is called as gene. Okay, and this nucleosome is nothing but the DNA and a protein. It is called as nucleosome, and this arrangement required different types of proteins. Okay, now the each organism contains specific number of chromosome. For example, if you observe the different types of examples and the number of chromosome present in that, in human there are 46 chromosomes present, and there are one pair of chromosome, and each pair of chromosome contains 23 chromosomes. So that because the human cell is diploid, that's why. So this is the structure of chromosome. If you observe this, there is a one constriction on this chromosome, and remember, there is not only one constriction. The first constriction in the around the middle, that is the called as primary constriction. From that the arms are divided, that is called as primary constriction or centromere. And whatever the constriction present on the arms, in this figure it is not observing, but there are many constrictions may be present on the chromosome, that are called, all are called secondary constrictions. Okay, so these primary constrictions divides the chromosome into the arms. So one arm is called as P arm, and other arm is called as Q arm. The P arm is the shorter arm, and Q arm is the long arm. And these two identical chromatids, one known as, this one whole part of the chromosome is known as the chromatid, and this is nothing but the our DNA molecule. Now there are depends on the centromere position, on which position centromere is present, that is divides the four chromosome into the four types. The four types of chromosomes. Can you one please read for this me? Yes, anyone read for this me? Yes, Rinal.
Uh, the centromere has a specific
Rinal, just
position.
read the types of chromosomes. Just read the types of chromosomes, Rinal.
Okay. Yes. इधर क्लियर नहीं दिख रहा है मेरे इधर.
Okay, internet, maybe internet problem. Renuka, can you please read this for me?
Yes. The centromere has a
Metacentric,
specific position in
submetacentric,
chromosome.
telocentric, acrocentric.
Okay, very good, Renal. So there are four types of chromosome, that is metacentric, submetacentric, acrocentric, and telocentric. And these all types of chromosome we can observe during the cell division under the compound microscope. Okay. Now let's see one by one the each type of chromosome. First one is the metacentric chromosome. Metacentric chromosome, in this centromere is present between the middle of the chromosome. So it is called as metacentric chromosome. So it looks like the English letter V, and the arms of this chromosome is in equal in length. So next one is the submetacentric chromosome. So here the centromere is somewhere near the midpoint of the chromosome, and that's why it looks like the English letter L. So it is near the center only, but not exactly at the center. One arm is slightly shorter than the other. Next one is the acrocentric chromosome. Now this acrocentric chromosome contains the centromere near to the one end. So it looks like the English letter J, and that's why the one arm of this chromosome is smaller than the other. Next one is the telocentric chromosome. The telocentric chromosome contains the centromere, which is the right end of the means it at the end only, at the end only. That's why it looks like the English letter I, and that's why it is at the end of one arm. So only one arm is there. Okay, so it looks like letter I. Now there are again depends on the organization and shape of the chromosome. Chromosomes are divided into two more types, that is the homologous chromosome and heterologous chromosome. The pair which consist of similar shape and organization, that chromosome is called as homologous chromosome, and the pair which consist of non-similar chromosomes in the shape and organization, that is the heterologous chromosome. If you observe in figure, there are the in first figure, these are the homologous chromosome. Why we are calling the homologous chromosome? Because whatever the alleles present in these chromosomes are the, or genes, we can say the genes present on this chromosome are exactly similar. That's why it is called as homologous chromosome, and also their shape is also similar. And in case of non-homologous chromosome, the genes present on the chromosomes are not similar. For example, if you here consider the allele A, and here there is allele E, and here B, and here D. So the organization of that gene is different, and the here it is shape is similar, but maybe the shape is small also. It is variation in shape also, that is called as heterologous chromosome. So next is depends upon the whatever the chromosomes in sexual organisms, the chromosomes, again there are two types, that is the sex chromosomes and autosomes. Now the all pairs except one pair, in case of sexual organism, the chromosome is different. That different pair of chromosome is called as sex chromosome or allochromosome. Because of this only the sexual organisms are produced sexually. Okay, so all other chromosomes than the sex chromosome is called as autosomes. For example, in case of human beings, the male contains the X and Y chromosomes, that is the sex chromosome, and in case of female, XX chromosome is the sex chromosome, that is called as allosomes also. Now we will see the next point, that is the DNA. Can you anyone tell me the long form of DNA? Yes.
deoxyribonucleic acid.
Yes, very good, Harshada. The DNA is nothing but the deoxyribonucleic acid. The we saw in the diagram earlier, the chromosome is mainly made up of DNA. First time in 1869, Misher discovered the one acid in the cell of white blood cell. That acid is that's found in the nucleus of that cell. That's why he named it is nucleic acid. Nucleic acid because it is found in nucleus, and it is in acidic in nature. That's why he called it as nucleic acid. But further study, the other cells contains the this nucleic acid. Okay, so nucleic acid is present in all the cells. Remember this. The molecules of DNA are present in all organisms, from viruses also, bacteria also, and human beings also. And this DNA is mainly control the function, growth, and division, that is the reproduction of that cell. That's why it is called as master molecule, because if DNA is there, then we can properly function. Otherwise, our cells cannot functioning properly, or we have some disorders if they are not functioning properly. That's why it is called as master molecule. So let's see the structure of DNA. You can see in this diagram this structure of DNA first time proposed by the Watson and Crick. That's why it is called as Watson and Crick model. It is also called a double helix because two parallel threads are coiled with one another and this structure is formed. Okay, so it is called as double helix. It is consist of nucleotides, means the smallest unit of this thread is nothing but the nucleotide. These are the nucleotides. In next picture we will see the what is mean by the nucleotides. Okay, so there are the four types of nitrogenous bases. That is the, if you observe this figure, this is whatever the I made here red square, that is the part of nucleotide. This nucleotide consists of nitrogenous base, then sugar and phosphate group. This all commonly called as nucleotide. And these nitrogenous bases are of four types, that is cytosine, guanine, thymine and adenine. So the purines are nothing but the guanine and adenine, and pyrimidines are the thymine and cytosine. The thymine and cytosine called as pyrimidine, and adenine and guanine are called as purines. So the purines and pyrimidines are joined with the hydrogen bond. The bond between purines and pyrimidine are the hydrogen bond. The guanine pairs with the cytosine with 3 hydrogen bonds, while thymine pairs with the adenine with 2 hydrogen bonds. Okay, and this is the, we called as sugar phosphate bond because here phosphate and sugar is present. That's why this is called as sugar phosphate bond. This is the structure of DNA. From this structure, can anyone tell me what is the charge on DNA? From this structure. Yes, please.
Positive.
Uh, uh, can you repeat, Renuka ma'am?
Positive charge.
Okay. Uh, so look at this structure, and if you observe, there are negative
No,
charges
no,
on
it's
first.
negative.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes,
negative charge.
yes, very good.
Mm.
That's why it is acidic in nature. Okay, we are earlier saw not DNA is an acidic in nature. First on whenever the discovery happens, that's why it is called as nucleic acid. So negatively charged DNA is, and during the this organization of DNA, there are the proteins which are positively charged, are there. That's why they bound to the that positively charged proteins, and so the DNA and protein complex is formed, and that's why this so much long DNA is observed in compact form in the nucleus. Okay. Okay, we saw all of these things. One thing is there are 4 nucleotides, okay, because this one part is called as nucleotides. For example, cytosine, then sugar and phosphate. This is one nucleotide. Again, there are second nucleotide is adenine, phosphate, and sugar molecule. This is the second. Then third nucleotide is guanine, then phosphoric acid and sugar. And fourth one is thymine, phosphoric acid and sugar. Now these 4 types of nucleotides present in the DNA like that, so that the 4 types of nitrogenous bases are there. Okay. And DNA structure is anti-parallel running, so that they can bind, a hydrogen bond is formed between them. Now next structure is gene. This all is we saw, just I will revise this. The each chromosome is made up of single DNA molecule, and the segment of DNA is nothing but the gene, and the sequence of nucleotides is varied. That's why there are different genes are formed, so that we are different. Can you tell me what is mean by nucleotide? Yes, please. Yes, what is mean by nucleotide? Now only I told. about this? Yes, please.
Variety of the sequence of nucleotides.
Uh, Once again, repeat, please. Renal.
Each chromosomes is made up in single DNA molecules. Segment of the DNA molecules are called the genes, and due to variety in sequence of the nucleotides, that is, the different kinds of the genes are formed.
Okay. I'm asking what is the nucleotides? Nucleotides means what? From which parts nucleotides form? Can anyone tell?
Uh,
Yes, Harshada ma'am.
Nucleotide formed by union of nitrogen base, pentose sugar, and phosphate.
Yes, very good, Harshada ma'am. Nucleotide are nothing
Thank you,
but the
ma'am.
combination of phosphate, sugar, phosphate, and nitrogenous bases. Okay, so these nucleotides arranged, the genes are arranged on a chromosome in a line. Okay, one by one like that, and this genes controls the structure and function of the cell, and the hereditary characteristics are transmitted due to parents to the offspring due to this gene only. That's why it is called as functional unit of hereditary. And so that there are many similarities between the parents and offspring. So whatever the information required for the protein synthesis is stored in the gene. Now next is the RNA. RNA is nothing but the ribonucleic acid. It is the second important nucleic acid found in the cell. All cell contains the RNA. Okay. Some of the viruses which are contains the genetic material. RNA is a genetic material. In that, for example, HIV virus that not contains DNA, that contains only RNA as a genetic material. So this RNA also contains the ribose sugar, and DNA contains the deoxyribose sugar. Remember this. And RNA contains ribose sugar, phosphate molecule, and four types of nitrogenous base, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil. In DNA, there are four nitrogenous bases, that is adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. Just changes in this uracil and thymine. In DNA, there is a thymine, and in RNA, there is a uracil. So RNA also a small unit of contains the small unit of nucleotide, means these are the macromolecules. RNA and DNA are the macromolecules, and the smallest unit of these macromolecules are nothing but the nucleotides. So nucleotide is the micromolecule. Remember this. So there are three types of RNAs are there. That is the you can see in this figure, that is mRNA, rRNA, and tRNA. This rRNA is nothing but the ribosomal RNA. It is the RNA is joined to the ribose. That's why it is called as rRNA or ribosomal RNA. It is play important role in the protein synthesis, and this is called mRNA. This mRNA is nothing but the messenger RNA. The whatever information present on the DNA is transferred to the for the protein synthesis through the mRNA. Okay, that's why it is called as messenger RNA. Okay, so the information for the protein synthesis is carried by this mRNA from the nucleus to the cytoplasm, and in the cytoplasm the next process of protein synthesis is carried out. Okay, next is the tRNA. This tRNA is nothing but the transfer RNA. This tRNA transfers the codon, and from this codon the amino acids is joined to the rRNA, and then the protein synthesis process is takes place. Okay, this is all about the seminar topic which I am taught. That is nothing but the some basic definitions. After that we saw the chromosomes. After that we saw the organization of chromosome, then the types of chromosomes, and after that the structure of DNA and structure of RNA. That's all. Thank you all of you. If you have any query, please ask me.
Yes, students, do you have any query regarding the topic?
No, ma'am.
Any feedback for her?
Very nice. Good. All points are
एक
clear.
बड़ी काफी. See, her topic was genetic basis of inheritance. Yes, and first of all, I congratulate you, Anuradha, very nicely. Now explain the entire topic. You can see she has touched every minute point of that particular topic. Yes, even she has started by asking questions like, what do you mean by genetics? Yes, how we can apply genetics, right? She has made clearly about the difference between the hereditary and inheritance. Yes, even very nicely she has explained the mechanism of hereditary. While explaining that, she has focused on the every part. It can be chromosome, it can be DNA, and what I like very minutely, she has explained the DNA. Yes, even the function of DNA, function of RNA, types of RNA, so many topics she has, small topics she has covered in her seminar. Yes, so this is, see, already we have studied all these things during our school days, during our college days, right? But now there is a gap. So now this is time to recall or to refresh our knowledge, right? So very wonderfully, Anuradha, you have conducted your seminar. I congratulate you. Please keep it up. And the same thing I'm expecting. See, this is not only the seminar, I'm expecting interactions. And interactions were there. In between, she asked questions, she took answers from you, right? So I'm expecting the interactions among the students. And in this way, if you're going to conduct the seminars, so definitely I can say your final marks, this is not only about getting the marks in the final examination, because when you'll go for the interview, so it will definitely enhance your content knowledge about the subject. And honestly, I must say that the same thing means I'm also in the same phase. Because see, as a student, you are used to of the content knowledge. Daily you are learning, daily you are updating content knowledge, right? So thank you so much, Anuradha. And the last part,
Thank you,
now
ma'am.
I'm expecting who is giving seminar on next, means on Saturday.
Me, ma'am, Renal.
Okay, Reenal, your topic.
Actually, मैम मुझे आज ही देना था, बट ठीक है, अभी टाइम इज ओवर.
See, it's not, see, please do ऐसे मत कीजिए कि मुझे खत्म करना, ये पॉइंट से तो मत देखिए. If you are taking entire lecture for the explanation part, then it is also okay. Yes, but the remaining means your classmate, they should understand the topic. That is the main thing. So are you ready to give seminar on Saturday, Reenal?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone else? And how much time you will take for the seminar? Yes,
हो
Reenal.
गया मैम.
Hmm?
15 minutes.
15 minutes enough? Okay, I want one more name.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm
Harshit.
taking ecosystem, ma'am.
Mhm.
Whole part of ecosystem, natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem.
Okay. So you both please be ready, and before giving seminar, just check your PPT once from me.
Okay,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. See you in
Thank
the
you,
next
ma'am.
class. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.